So Natalia, we are now in front of a screen. So we engage now in the second part of the podcast. And what we do here is normally, or we kind of have a gamified approach now to know a little bit more about you now. Yeah. And we have a game. We call it "What if data management would be?" Yeah. So I explain it just shortly for you. Behind all of these boxes is a topic. Okay. And you have to give me, fitting to that topic, yeah, an explanation what data management would be. For example, if data management would be a country, yeah, you have to come up with a country and tell me what would be this country, and if data management would be a country, and why. Yeah. So there are 4 boxes, and I will cover, or you can select which one you want to go first, and then, yeah, and then we can. Yeah, take it from there and then engage in that. Yeah,
I'm tempting for the first one.
Obviously, the first one. Okay, so the first one, if we remove it, it's painting.
Of course.
If data management would be a painting or whatever, what painting would it be?
I don't know why, but it came to my mind the Scream.
The Scream, really? Scream?
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, because sometimes it's such a nightmare, but that you need to deal with all this dark data and everything, you know.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, the person is an open mouth, you know, so I feel like that it again comes to a communication problem, right?
Okay.
So you can't really speak, but you scream.
Okay. Okay, I take it. I think it's fair. Yeah. And but painting, what does it mean to you actually, painting? Yeah.
So that painting or in general?
In general, like.
But painting, of course. Well, for me, I love painting because it calms me down. So that's the moment when I kind of on my own, in my own world, and I can just create something that I would like to, you know, at the current stage.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of paintings are you doing? Like, what technique are you using?
So I actually, in a way, weird artist, because I started from the oil and then I moved to a watercolor, while all the artists typically study to draw and then watercolor, and from where we go to the oil. So you need to kind of exactly get the technique done and then you go creative, you know, in oil. So oil is amazing because in a way, you can just do anything like a mistake and you can erase it, you know. In watercolor, you have to be precise.
Okay.
So every single mistake counts.
Oh, wow.
So if you actually paint and you didn't think about it in advance, the painting will not be good because you have done the wrong, you know, way of putting it. For instance, you keep the white always, you know, not to be touched, because then you can't remove, you know. Or of course you can, you know, put some acrylic and everything, but it's going to be visible. So that's important. And actually, with also, again, you can connect it to the data.
Okay.
With mistakes and so on, you know, so you have to be careful about it. So you're not actually painting with oil. I think you're painting with watercolors in data.
So first time right, huh? All right, then next box.
Well, let's go just by order.
You go by order.
Yes.
Yeah, you see how much structured you are? Gardening.
Yeah.
Planes.
Very trendy topic for me.
So, yeah, I put that.
Unfortunately, I don't know if my tomatoes are survived after this craziness. What's happening?
I put this up because I saw on LinkedIn that you have like your success with tomatoes. Yeah, and I thought like, okay, she's apparently into gardening.
In my small balcony.
Your small balcony. Okay, so gardening. Why gardening? Why are you a fan of that?
Well, I think that's how you connect with nature, to be honest.
Okay.
Again, it's about to cool down, you know, again, being in this on your own, you know, and communicate. Or I'm all about that, you know, like, to be honest. I love nature in general, so why not to grow as well, you know, something. And it's amazing, this feeling of something which is you've grown yourself, from the moment that it's like just, you know, the small one, you're already so happy. But that's the time when it's very difficult actually and very important to keep, to keep these plants to be alive, because the moment of these first stages are very fragile. So you can actually lose it at the first stage easily. And it happened to me when I was starting gardening,
Okay.
So again, no mistakes in here. So, but it's amazing to see, of course, the fruit or the tomato in my case, right? And then eat it.
No, but what we are missing is still like, if data management would be now a flower, a plant, what would it be? What would come to your mind?
I think it would be forest.
Forest? Okay.
Because it's data, and so it's a lot of data. So you need to deal with.
A data forest. Yeah. Okay.
Big forest. What's yours?
I was thinking of a bonsai tree. You know why?
I do have one.
Yeah, so. I also. I mean, I must say, like, I'm actually, like my father, he's a landscaper. And when I was younger, I always had to do the gardening with him and everything. So for me, this is a lot of related to work also. But what I liked and what I learned from this is like how to treat bonsai trees. And I like them because the way they grow, it's not really like straight. Yeah, it goes like left and right and up and down. And it takes like a lot of, and the same with data. Data is flowing. Yeah, it has a natural flow. And a bonsai tree has it as well. And then it treats a lot of treatment. Yeah, to have like it in high quality, like high qualitative. And a bonsai tree, you can't give it too much water, you can't give it too less water, temperature, lightning, this and that. So it's very delicate in a way.
Super delicate.
Yeah, and data is the same kind of, like you need to give it so much attention and to make sure that it has the quality that you need. So that's why I was thinking of a bonsai, and it needs patience. Yeah. And I think everyone in data management needs also to have patience.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love this. I mean, you definitely aim to data, right? So I have to say again that I'm not as data, expert as you are. But take the forest, please.
I take the forest. Okay, then let's continue to the next one. And this one is here, cuisine, cooking. Yeah. So I know that you are a food lover.
Yes. And I'm very strict about what I'm eating, and I'm also actually vegetarian, so
okay. So if data management would be, let's say, a cuisine, or what cuisine would it be?
You see, I don't know if I would choose a specific one, because it should be an international cuisine. I mean, you can't just put the data into one box, right? Like there are different regulations. So definitely, and you need to communicate within the different departments, and departments are global departments. So how can you eat pasta, and make a Japanese person to eat pasta every day? So I mean, maybe some people will like it as well, of course. But you need to all be open. For food. I honestly a big food lover, but I'm also believe that you shouldn't be sticking to one single cuisine, So you have to be open for every single
explore.
And I'm a traveler as well, so I do like to try different.
So you cooking a lot at home?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
And what is it that what you naturally would, let's say, like?
Pasta. Pasta is amazing, because pasta can be with anything, like it's never boring. You just choose what sauce you want to add. And it's not about carbonara or bolognese. So I lived in Italy for some time. I know that the home Italian cuisine is a different one that is in the restaurants.
Okay, so you would say Italian food is your favorite food?
I would say so. The first one that I would choose to eat kind of
outside
day.
So it's a safe choice for you?
Not outside, exactly inside. Like I actually don't go to the restaurants to eat Italian food, because I believe I can cook better.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. And if you would go out, like what kind of food is it that naturally or normally you would go and say, this is...
And it's actually very interesting, because at the events, I always get together after the first day of the event, and where we're going is typically international and maybe with Italian vibe, because typically, again, everybody can get it. So why would I bring someone to a Korean restaurant if maybe some people will not like it, So we need to be careful about that.
Yeah.
I think it's the same you can apply to your data.
It's true. That's why I liked what you said with pasta. Yeah. So pasta is something, I mean, it has its origin in Asia, in China, yeah, and from there even to Italy and so on. So I think every country from there to there, also nowadays, obviously in the US or other continents, have a pasta-based kind of dish. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but they give it their own flavor. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I think everywhere, even in Russia, we have it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy, of course.
Yeah.
Most of Italians think like, "What is that?" But but
Exactly.
we have pasta.
Yeah.
So.
True. Okay. Nice. Then let's jump to the last one. Language.
Okay. Good
If
one.
data management would be a language.
It would be English, obviously, right?
Okay, because everyone is using
speaks,
it.
Yes, I mean, it
Okay.
all comes to that, right?
Yeah.
It's important. I know that French people try to get there, but
Yeah.
you know, that but we need to stick to one language which is already spoken by many people, right?
Yeah.
So that it's a clear message.
Yeah.
So if somebody will speak to me French, I can understand if it's
Yeah.
written, but me personally, but I
Yeah.
think many people will not even understand
Yeah.
anything, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely English, yeah.
Okay.
Stick to that.
Nice. And
But it's important, by the way, languages, you know, and data.
yeah.
In coming back to my background, because I speak languages, I got to know the culture,
Yeah.
honestly. And then I talk to clients, and in data, sometimes if you speak the same language, not sometimes, it's almost always, you know, that you get to know the person and the person trusts you. So it's important that people actually learn different languages.
How many languages are you speaking?
Like fluently 4.
Fluently 4.
Yes.
Okay, what language? 4. Okay, which languages are these?
Would be original Russian, but honestly, I speak English most of the time. Right now, I'm forgetting even my own language.
Okay.
So, and then I know Italian.
Yeah.
I speak as well quite
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Czech, and I'm right now improving it quite quickly right now. I need it.
Okay.
And of course, other languages I can understand because of this, you know, because of already the 4 different languages that I know.
Okay, impressive. So, but all these languages that you are speaking, so on your day-to-day, I mean, you mentioned it already, it is helping you also in your day-to-day work with potential speakers or guests of your events. But are you talking to them in their language then, or is it like you still keep it English professional?
Again, you see, good question, right? Because every single time when I would speak to the people from data, and if I would know their language, I still would stick to some English.
Yeah.
Because we understand. And most of the people, I have to say, during all my experiences with data people, we would say the same. We would say, I'm sorry, but when I'm talking about my work, I can only express myself in English. It's difficult for me to speak right now on my own. And I'm like, I completely understand you. So I think this is a natural answer, no?
That's actually a very good statement, because I can relate completely to that, what you just said. Because I had a German client, and they were very kind of German fixed. Yeah, they said like, we want every documentation to be in German. So now you have to come up with translations of the specific keywords and so on from data management. And you need to find a German translation for that. Yeah, and I said like, that's so weird. Yeah, it doesn't sound nice. It doesn't feel right and everything. And even when I talk in German about the topic, I use obviously English terms and so on. Yeah, and I mean, if I have to give explanation about what I'm doing, I mean, what I'm doing is anyway difficult. People think like, okay, if you're in data, you're a tech guy. Yeah, but if I talk now, for example, to relatives or something, and I tell them I'm in data and so on, and they say like, what is that? What exactly you're doing? I couldn't explain it in my own language. English is the number one language. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. My mom learned a couple of things in every single language that I use.
Yeah.
So because she's like always hear me like that I use some constantly the same words, and she just learned it because she's like, okay, you use it all the time in one language, so I learned it for you to understand what you're doing.
Okay.
So definitely.
Okay, so we can say data management, if you want to scream, you go in the data forest, have some pasta and speak English with Yeah?
Yes.
So that's data management.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I will probably use it for another post on LinkedIn. Why not?
Yeah, go for it. Okay. Thank you, Natalia. I think it was nice
you,
to know.
Naj.
Yeah, to
I
know
mean,
more about.
finally, I can talk also not about the data, but also my things. This is great.
I mean, you said it. It's also about the people. Yeah.
Always about people.
It's also about the people, and people can relate. So, yeah, thanks for sharing it and then letting us relate to you. And
My pleasure.
thanks. Then we go back to the sitting position
Yes.
and continue over there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You naturally have this in you, right? This
Yes.
kind of because you
I have to be
exactly. How is it?
So Nazim,
Exactly.
tell me.
You want to ask me questions? I can see that you have this urge to kind of take over the
Yes.
control in a way.
I know, but I'm holding myself. Honestly,
Thank you.
in the first 10 minutes, I was like, just hold on, 5 seconds. 5 seconds. He needs to finish his question.
Okay. Well, I mean, I appreciate that you are sharing so much of us. Yeah, also at the board. And it's nice to see also behind, the professional side of someone, that I mean, we are dealing here and there with each other, and we know each other now for a few years.
I'm not an AI.
Yeah.
I'm a real person. So if people thought about it in LinkedIn, but apparently, some people thought.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I exist.
You exist and you have a lot of, as we could see, hobbies and activities that you do beside being active in the events or with ThinkLinkers. And I want to look also into another field of you where you're very, I would say, visible is your social media account with LinkedIn. You have more than 20,000 followers.
22, I think, almost.
22,000. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I count every single follower I count.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's exactly something that I wanted to talk to you about. You appreciate really this growth of your followers, and how are you kind of keeping it up? Yeah, to engage with your community on LinkedIn.
A very good question, and very let's say trendy one right now at our company. To be honest, I have to do so many things in ThinkLinkers, but a couple of months ago, at our company, my colleagues were saying, Natalia, we are now working as digital marketing. You've got to do your personal branding better than ever. So, and that was challenged to do more posts, personal posts, and of course create a better quality content. If it's a photo, if it's a text, and everything needs to be in updated in like and be better advanced level. Let's say. I like it, of course, but it's sometimes also complicated to do the daily job together with being at LinkedIn, and this LinkedIn seriously is my second or maybe even the first home already. I really live on LinkedIn. But it's something that I enjoy, and I'm working a lot right now on the new posts and the content for people, and I discuss with every single almost person. It's difficult, of course, to keep up a conversation that is every single one, but I try to.
What are you normally sharing with your on LinkedIn?
Well, here it comes. So I try to keep it professional, of course, because it's a still professional social network. So I do post a lot of data content related posts, right? So if it's either the research that I'm currently doing, or if I'm call for speakers, for instance, is a typical one, I need to always check and get new people, involved in our events. And now, of course, I need to do a little bit of my personal branding, meaning I have to share with people also who I am, so we need to learn about like me personally as well, like because we need to know with whom we are working, right? And the company are people. So.
So they need to know more about you. You just said it. They need to know more about you. But why do they need to know more about you? I mean, what's the reason? Why would you say that's important, that people also know more about you beyond your, let's say, professional posts that are related to data management?
Very good question. I think that people make a connection. There's a human being, right? Not as an AI or so you can of course ask questions and you know the Q&A section and everything and every website, but you can't substitute the human interaction. So it's important to keep up this relationship, and of course, like this, you can connect and have a relationship, long-lasting business relationship. For instance, with you, Najim, I knew you what?
Yeah.
I mean, how long actually? It's been a while.
It's been a while, more than
5-7 years, right? Yeah, because COVID kind of, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
5-7 years, and you can see that how did we get here right now? So it's because we communicated.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. I mean, I fully support what you're saying, that we also, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all humans. Yeah. And I think it's always important to make others realize, hey, the topics that you're dealing with, I have dealt with them as well. Yeah. So if I can manage them, you can manage them. Yeah. And so that's one aspect of it. Yeah. So that people can also, and you said it also before, you like also to have the scary stories, not only the success stories. Yeah. You like to have also the experiences and topics that maybe didn't go right at the beginning. Yeah. And maybe they had to take 2 or 3 turns to get there. Yeah. And I think that is important, because in a time where we are living in, not only on LinkedIn, but it's also on LinkedIn and others like Snapchat or TikTok and Instagram and everything, we give the impression of the perfect illusion.
Exactly.
And LinkedIn is doing it for professional related topics, that here's the perfect solution, or I have the perfect career, I have the, I know how to deal with everything. But the reality is, it's not like this. Yeah, so
very good one, and that's why I have even posts that during some events I'm showing actually how I feel about it before the events, because yes, I am stressed sometimes, you know, I'm overwhelmed, and it's normal to show these emotions to people, because we should know that the ThinkLinkers, it doesn't go smoothly. Everything, whatever we see during these 2-3 days, that you know, we have actually 6 months of our work behind, you know.
Yeah. So it takes quite a lot of preparation for you. Yeah, not only related to the data professions that you get on board, but with the venue and the expectations and everything. So I can imagine that it's not easily done. Yeah. Now, speaking again about our data management community, you would recommend data management professionals to share more, or to share more about themselves also on LinkedIn, or to engage on these kind of conversations?
I can't say that it's important for everyone, because everybody is different. And honestly, I think if you don't want to ask someone to go against their nature. Look, perfect example, Pio. He's the most actually person who is who doesn't like to be in public, and he is doing it because he knows that it's important, you know. And we encourage him to do that. And, but it's really not his style at all. So for me, it's more like my style. But even for me, it's like sometimes a challenge to put something, you know, like, and I have to be careful about this content. So for data people, I believe that it's even more complicated, because we are a bit closed people typically, but not everybody, right? So I don't expect everyone to write their, you know, foundings and everything. If somebody wants it, it's fantastic. You can share this with the data community. It's amazing. But if not, then try to find other ways of doing it. So you can go to the smaller groups of events, right, or webinars or anything, and you can actually express yourself in there, but you don't need to do it publicly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That, I mean, at the end, everyone is different, and everyone has a different role also. Yeah, for someone who is maybe engaged as a speaker, or tries to be on event as a speaker, then it's probably a bit more important than someone who's just a data scientist or data analyst, who is busy in the background with his tables and his data products that he's creating or she's creating. So then it's a different way also to consume these channels. But I think what is important, and I mean, you mentioned it as well, as I mean, you try to, I mean, you keep it very professional, and you It takes time and discipline to build up events or a brand such as ThinkLinkers, and I think ThinkLinkers is now a well-recognized company, yeah, in the data analytics community. Yet you share personal stuff, and it's so. I mean, with all due respect, it is simple stuff such as, "Hey, I'm growing here tomatoes." Yeah. So I think people have always a kind of. They have these obstacles in their head. They think like, "Oh, if I share something, it needs to be kind of." I'm going to the space, yeah, or something.
Exactly, like a milestone.
Yeah.
And that's typical of LinkedIn, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. I think LinkedIn needs to still evolve, you know, like it's still a young kind of a networking platform.
Yeah.
I think people need to also see the failure sometimes.
Yeah.
But here you need to be, of course, careful about all these regulations and so on. Maybe some organizations wouldn't allow you to even speak about like something, you know, so you need to only say part of it, your journey.
Yeah. And I think
that's why I say maybe not share it on LinkedIn, but go and, you know, show some presentations that are going to be only shared this small group of audience, you know.
Yeah, I like that what you're saying. Like, I mean, it's also a little bit of an area where you can try, whether it is on social media or it's on events, on close events, smaller events, and so on. But at the end, and that's what I think is important, and we started also about it when we talked at the beginning, we started to talk about it a little bit, is about getting used to using analogies, using stories to tell us, to tell actually what you want to do.
Absolutely.
On your data journey, or why you need, for example, a kind of set of data governance, or why you need data quality management, and so on. So by just giving the hard facts, people find it maybe difficult to get it. But with these anecdotes, these analogies, I mean, and you just saw the game that we're playing, data management, if data management would be. The idea behind this game is just to get data management out of this corner that it is boring, it is complex, it is
dry topic,
you know, and this and that. So no, it's actually not. If you like pasta, Natalia told you data management is like pasta. So, and I think data professionals needs to kind of experience and train that. Would you agree?
Yes, totally. Yes, we can definitely experience this data storytelling, especially in the organization. You don't need to do it, of course, publicly, right? But at your organization, at least, they need to be aware about the value of data.
Yeah. So if we speak about storytelling or data storytelling, and you, as I said, you have a big audience with 22,000 followers. What techniques are you using, or what techniques can you maybe share with our listeners and viewers?
So actually I would like to add this hobbies. That's in my plans, to be honest, is to connect my hobbies to the data. So it can be in past, for instance, I use some memes, right? And related to data and everything, so people can relate to that and then take it with a little fun, right? So, but like this, you can understand the challenge or a problem in data, you know, and somebody doesn't understand, and even my friends, you know, when they look at these memes, they understood. We don't understand what is data. People ask me, like in my, you know, my second activity, when I say to them, I do a conference in data management, IT, and I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, of course. So, but when I show them the memes, I understand a little bit about the data, at least through this. So it's absolutely crucial to share your own way, you know, so like I use the meme, right? So you can use your own hobby. I don't know if you write, for instance, so go poetic about that, for instance. You like cinema, you can show some, you know, analysis and, you know, comparisons between the cinema and the data. We've done it during Marathon, a lot of it. We discussed also in the past with you about the presentations. It's important to show what are you passionate about through data, so Lego, for instance, right? Or Star Wars or Harry Potter. So
you would say the importance of the importance of data storytelling is that it is to making it more that people can more relate to that, yeah, and can actually understand the importance. And that has obviously an impact on the data culture that you want to nurture, right?
Especially if you want to have build a data-driven culture. Absolutely, data storytelling is essential.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So you said so again for the audience.
Yes.
Yeah. So it should be topics that someone can relate to. Yeah. Is kind of confident in
language,
talking.
Right? You need to find the common language.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean language English, right? So it means that the language we can understand. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the language. It's a topic where they feel comfortable and can talk about it. Yeah, and even if there comes maybe some follow-up questions, they can still keep the analogy alive. Yeah. What else would you recommend people for having a good story then at the end?
I have to say that first it needs to be definitely we shouldn't forget about with whom we're talking. So know your audience.
Yeah.
That's definitely that. Then a little bit of from my experience, some people use the humor.
Yeah.
Our friend Scott Taylor is the best example of it. How he puts the data topics that sometimes, like we say, that's a dry topic. It's so enthusiastic, and people that don't understand data, I can tell. Still, my friends that I showed them some of the presentations. They don't understand anything, but then Scott talking, we understand something. So it's because he is a great data storyteller, right?
Yeah.
And why he's so great?
Yeah.
So it's exactly because the way how he express himself, right? And then data, so he also uses the different comparisons and analogies, but also this fun. So he's very fun personage, if you think about in data community. That doesn't exist anyone else, I have to say. He's very unique. And here it comes. You have to find your own uniqueness.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You need to find kind of your strength, and to use it. For one, it is this naturally speaking and cracking jokes. For the other, it is also to be very informative and maybe like writing something and so on. But I think it's about, like as you said, know your audience and make sure that and double check, did they get it? Yeah. So I think it's one thing, it's about having a skill and doing it, or a passion, writing videos, jokes, whatever it is, and then do the cross check and see if it has been understood and received by the audience. And let me ask you here again, also based on your experience. You are dealing with people from the C-level, you're dealing with people that are head of, you're dealing with people that are then managers or more in operational activities. So how much does it play in your communications with them a role? That what level do they have? Like, is it true that you give a different level of information depending on the level of hierarchy you are facing?
The information is still the same.
Okay.
But the way how I present it is different.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. You see?
Okay. And if you say the way you present it, so can you give us a little bit more about what do you mean with the way it is? Is it less with someone, or because there's always this claim that...
Okay, so I will make it very simple. And that's actually the point. It's about simplicity.
Okay.
So when we're talking about someone who is really top manager, he hasn't got time. So you need to explain everything so simple and quickly as soon as possible, When obviously people that have managerial positions, they a little bit have more time to speak to me, So it's really about the different ways of talking to them as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so because that's also something I think it's always tricky, like if you're dealing with a C-level, for example. So as you mentioned, the C-level is on a level where he or she is doesn't have much time and is dealing on a daily basis with tough decisions about different topics. So if you imagine a CEO A CEO, he might is on the same day he's dealing with marketing, with sales, with controlling, with that strategic project and that strategic project, and then you come. You as the, let's say, head of data management or analytics, and you want now to tell him a status, or you want to have a budget raise or whatever, yeah. And I think, yeah, you know, like, it's a tricky part. I mean, I have been there also, like, several times. You think, okay, you need 60 minutes. They give you 30 minutes, yeah, and then they come late. So your 30 minutes
Yes.
turn out to be only 20 minutes, yeah.
And so what you've got?
What you got, yeah. So what do you do in that situation? And I find that difficult because you said it. You need to kind of compromise on the depth, but still they need to make decisions. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. So, and you need to make it simple. You have to present it that
Yeah.
something that we can understand and consume
Yeah.
quickly, but remember about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that I used, and I also used it on one of the ThinkLab events. I think was the last one in April. The story of football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that, for example, and that company, that the board was very much into football. Yeah. So they had like different clubs, and they were going and following them and supporting them. So I said, like, okay, I used football as a analogy for data management and the topic of offensive data and defensive data management and so on. Yeah. And I realized the room was really engaged. Yeah. And then I had to leave, yeah, because time was over. So next time when I saw them, I still used the analogy of football, because I knew, okay, they will immediately remember what we talked about. And if I tell them now again, like, hey,
association
you know,
have created.
Exactly, we need a new player. Yeah. Why we need a new player? Well, you can't, you know, like, you need to have new players, fresh blood, new skill set, this and that. And then they understood it. Yeah, okay, it's like in football, if that club is buying a new player and this and that. So they understood it. Yeah. So and then
of course we understood that.
yeah. So it makes it easier, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So even if it's not just about one particular moment, it can the same story can be even used for a longer term, right?
Yes, absolutely. You can create this kind of a small world that we can, you know, play. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
We are still, I think all the people still kids, you know, so
yeah.
I think it's good. That's why Lego worked.
That's why Lego worked. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Yeah. Now let me ask you one thing. Now with all these developments that you see with analytics and AI, especially AI, yeah, Gen AI, do you think it will have an impact on how we will tell stories? I mean,
yes, absolutely.
What can you imagine, like, for events and so on?
Well, you can see it yourself, right? That on LinkedIn, some people that never wrote a post started to write posts.
Yeah. Yes.
So, well, we know why, but it's important, and I'm not discouraging people to write posts. I'm happy that they're writing it, but you need to remember some important practices about that, right? So if you want to share some story of yourself, you shouldn't rely completely on AI, right? You should use it just as a helper to express yourself. But AI shouldn't kill your voice, right? Your uniqueness. You're a human being, so it's important that you keep your own individuality.
Yeah.
So definitely AI will be, you know, influencing two ways.
Yes.
So you need to be careful about keeping this uniqueness.
Yeah. I like what you said. I really like what you said. You need to, I mean, it's still, again, the tool, or the tool is supporting, or should support, your identity. It should support who you are.
But not erase it.
Yeah, but not erase it, exactly, and not create something different out of you. But for people who maybe haven't, who do not find easily the right words to express themselves,
why not?
That's a great tool to support them, to enhance their ability, actually. Yeah, I like that. And what do you think? I mean, like you said, like, people who post now more than they used to. And I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I will ask you. Like, I have a few words, if I read them in a post, I immediately know that's an AI text. Yeah, so you can like sense it a little bit.
You can sense it
Yeah.
because right now, well, we're talking about future, right?
Yeah.
I think in future it will be more complicated to sense it.
Yeah.
So that is why it's important to keep this uniqueness, you know.
Yeah.
So now we are still, it's just kind of new,
Yeah.
quite fresh, let's put it this
Yeah.
way. So we can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's even becoming complicated to understand. That's why you need to keep this in mind, at least in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you can be a good, you know, writer or communicator.
Yeah.
That this AI, you will need to become not just a great communicator, but you need to be also a strategic one. Because AI will take care of most of the technical part of it, you know. But the human being needs to deal with all the data that comes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, interesting. And I would still, I mean, even if you can detect that this is a text that is supported with AI or written by it, I would still claim let people do it. You know why? Because, as I said, first of all, let them express themselves.
Exactly, try.
Yeah, they try. Yeah, that's also a playground, and why not doing it? Yeah.
I think for data people it's perfect. AI exists, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I mean, it
Like,
makes life easier. Yeah. So also, if English is not your first language, or you're not that well in expressing yourself in English,
of course, it helps.
then it helps you. It helps you. Yeah. But I would also say, if the person is agreeing to what is been written down by AI, then it's still a part of him, because he says, that's my opinion and I would like to share it. Yeah. So it still is the opinion. I think it's the important part.
But here it comes, the problem is that AI can really reverse it and change the words and make the opinion different, you know. So you have to be careful about that.
Exactly.
And people just sometimes also get confused. Oh, okay, maybe AI knows better and he thinks that it's gonna work, you know, like, but it's already changing what you wanted to say originally, right?
Yeah. So still the human being needs to, again, control and see, select, yeah, and make and take decisions upon if it's right or wrong, yeah, and so on. So the human factor still is needed, yeah, even if it's, especially if it's about a personal post about your opinion, it definitely needs that, yeah. So that's about the post, but would you say AI will also impact on a different scale events? Yeah.
Well, in events, AI, I mean, there will be more, of course, topics related to AI at the events, but with more increase of AI, we will all remember that the data foundations are the most crucial one. Think about that, you know. So I don't know. I think there will be. I mean, we just need to adapt. I think as people need to adapt, and as data people need to adapt to their work, new ones. So I think that's the most important, I would say.
I have a crazy idea. I mean, I could imagine events like your Think Lab. Yeah, I mean, you have a lab. Yeah, and in that lab, why not having a AI giving a presentation? Yeah.
Yeah, you're funny.
Why not?
No, because actually ThinkLinkers is exactly about the human touch, you know. So that's the most important thing about us as a company. And again, it's something that Pio noticed that, you know, he always was writing the content about ThinkLinkers, how important the human touch and so on. And believe me, during the COVID, it was us as a team making him to do the marathon, and he wasn't saying no, it's killing our like what I believe in, you know. And he always says after COVID we will get back to this, you know. People will understand that how much is important is physical gatherings and everything. Here we are. So after the COVID, post-COVID, and they understand how important it is to get together, and events are are important right now to people to go and talk. So people will not allow to have AI speaking in the presentation. That's the first thing to respond to your question. So no, I think it's also not, it's kind of against of our policies.
Okay. So, interesting. Yeah, I mean.
But look, even the hybrid. I when people asking me like, why don't you do the hybrid? And I'm like, oh, come on, like hybrid? Of course, I don't, you know, judge other companies that do that. Okay, let them do it, but we are not them, you know. We want to keep our events are separate, you know. If it's an online, it's an online. Also, the price range is different, you know. So how can you make the hybrid out of it, you know?
Agree.
It's not a huge one. So
I'm not a fan of hybrid events. No, for the people that is they are not in the room. they lose a lot, yeah, and they cannot engage in the questions.
Exactly.
And like,
Where's their voice?
yeah,
How can we?
I mean, it's better than nothing in a way, but if I have the choice as a guest, I always go for the physical one if there's a physical event and not in a hybrid session. Also for the fact of the best conversation you have in the coffee breaks, at the lunch, and after the sessions, you know, when you go for dinner, there you have like, again, you connect, you engage, and you get more than just the normal everything is perfect answer, even from the speakers. Yeah. So, and I think this is lost, or you kind of lose this opportunity if it's a hybrid session. Yeah, and so, and that's maybe also a reason why you would not have AI speakers in a way, because AI would obviously give you a perfect answer, and it would be very, yeah, fabricated in a way. Yeah,
Exactly.
So okay, then we know ThinkLinkers, no AI speakers.
The good thing, about that is when you actually invited me at the interview, and I was a little bit scared about, okay, probably there will be some questions about data management that I don't know the answer for. So some of my friends said, why don't you use the ChatGPT? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not going to use ChatGPT to answer to the question that I have to know the answer. Or if I don't know the answer, I'll just not respond to this question. But I don't want to kill my voice, or I don't want AI speaking for me.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because you still want to be yourself. You want to be authentic. Yeah. And that makes you more trustworthy and also relate, like people can relate more to you. Yeah. It's a good attitude that you have.
Thank you.
Okay, so we know that people, data, technology.
Yes, passion. Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think you
connection, right? The
connection,
people, data, technology, connecting.
Exactly.
All.
Technology is still just a vehicle. The human side needs to be human, and humans are not perfect. I think that's what we learned from you today with what you shared with us, that how tiny the story is. Just try it. Just give it a try, and then explore yourself in storytelling and then being approachable and relatable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
reach out to me if you want to express
yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. So
to be honest, I'm a perfect person to speak to. If you have a great story in the data, you want to express yourself, you write to me.
Yeah. So please, she said it. We have it on tape. Yeah. Yes. You can try your stories with Natalia, and yeah, I think first of all, let me thank you. Yeah, I could still continue talking to you about storytelling and all of these topics, but I think now it's a good time, now that you also mentioned that AI is not replacing physical presence in events.
Yeah,
I think we can make a cut here. And yeah, but coming back to kind of the summary, yeah. I mean, you can say it in your own words, but the essence is data, people, technology. At the end, you need to connect, and the human drive should be at the forefront.
Absolutely, yes, I agree with you. Well, this is something that I believe in, is that people are all behind these technologies and data, so it's all about them. So definitely, I'm passionate about the people. That's why I am in this data community.
Yeah, and it's great to have you in the data community.
And I thank you for inviting me here, thinking that I'm going to bring some insights to the audience.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure. I mean, to the audience, leave comments, leave remarks, leave feedback to us and to Natalia. I'm pretty sure they will leave some good feedback, and because again, you are showing us, and that's why I wanted to have you with us. I mean, you're showing us a different side of the community, of the industry, and also that people who are not kind of in depth dealing with data management. I mean, you're dealing, and you said it, on a daily basis with data management and data management trends and topics. So I would still claim that you are a professional in that industry. Yeah. But you show us a different side. Yeah. And a side that we kind of need, which is the human side, and which is the storytelling side, because at the end of the day, if we want to succeed on the data journey with the transformation and data related topics, then we need to make it kind of applicable and understandable, and that's where storytelling and your approaches come in.
Yes, and the human being will be translating all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even if there's AI, yeah,
We still need to be the ones that are gonna deal with
exactly.
it, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So in that sense, I think it was great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
And
Likewise. And it's amazing to be on another side of it, you know. So, and I'm trying myself as well.
yeah, I think it's really nice to see you in a kind of guest position and not
Yes.
the host position. I could get used to that. You should do that more often. Maybe at another time again with me. Natalia, when we closed the session, I mean, you remember we started with a fun fact about the river.
Right.
Yeah. And when we closed the session, we asked the guests also for a fun fact about data and a river. Yeah. So what comes to your mind if I ask you to give an analogy between data and rivers?
Data is water.
Data is water.
It's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, data is water.
But data is data in a way. That's what I believe in, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, but is there something where you say like, okay, they have some similarities? You know?
Absolutely, yes. That's why it exists as this expression, right?
Yeah.
What else? I mean, that's where I have to say I'm not a data expert.
Yeah.
I will keep it this simple.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Keep it simple. Data is water.
But guys.
Okay. Sometimes the beauty is in the simplicity.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you for being
Thank
with
you.
us. Yeah. And thanks to everyone who were listening or viewing this session. And yeah, goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good day there.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Where to look?
No, where?
So,